What's up, guys, and welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Jones at 4K, bringing you guys another Forza Horizon 5 drift tune and build video. Now, in today's video, we're going to be jumping into the 2012 GTR, Nissan GTR. We're going to get into the build of this car, followed by the tune, and then we're going to take it down to the drift zone to see if we can 3-star the zone and also put down 1 million points. Let's jump right into it. All right, guys, so let's not waste no time. How you guys doing today? It's a lovely Sunday morning. It's 6:30 in the morning. I couldn't sleep, so I decided to get up and build this car. So for the build on this car, we obviously took this car from all-wheel drive to rear-wheel drive, and then we put the Liberty Walk wide body kit on it. For our transmission, we are using the 6-speed race transmission. We are using the stock driveline, and we are using the drift diff. And the only reason why I use the stock driveline, stock driveline, I was trying to get the PI to go to 900, so this car wasn't S2, but I couldn't get it to S. I couldn't get it to S, so sorry about that. For our platform and handling, on our brakes, we have race brakes. We have the drift springs and dampers. We have the race front and the race rear roll bars. We have a race roll cage, and then we have our race weight reduction. For our aero and appearance, we just have the Liberty Walk wing on it. You can go no wing or the Big Country Loud's wing, but I just went with the Liberty Walk since we have the Liberty Walk kit on it. For our tires and rims, our compound, we're using Horizon Semi Slicks. You can also use the Semi Slicks or the Hot Wheels Semi Slicks, which is weird because this one, I wonder what the difference is because you lose off-road and you lose handling, which is kind of weird, but they're all Semi Slick compounds. But anyway, we're going with the Semi Slicks. For our front tire width, we're going with a 255 in the front, and then for the rear, we are going with a 305 in the back. For the rim size, I left the stock at 20s. There's no sense in putting 21s on this car. I mean, if you want a hot boy, but 20s is just fine. For our rim choice, we are using the multi-piece rim style, and we are using the ADV1, ADV6 M.V2 standard. And then lastly, for our engine build, we have a race intake, we have a sport fuel system, we have a race ignition, we have a sport valves, we have race cams, we have the sport exhaust only because the race exhaust sounds terrible. So we went with a sport exhaust. We have the race engine block, we have the race pistons, race twin turbos, race intercooler, race oil and cooling, and lastly we have the stock flywheel. And the only reason why I went to stock flywheel was because I was trying to get the PI. And if you could put the race flywheel in, it's really not going to do much. It's really not going to change much on how this car performs. You'll get a little bit more revs, and you'll get a little bit more like a little faster. I'm trying to think here. A little faster grab when you clutch kick and stuff like that. So, I mean, go ahead with the flywheel on there because when you clutch kick, it'll rev up a little bit quicker. But I don't really notice the difference. I mean, we have 1,000 horsepower, so you can go stock or you can go race. But like I said, I was trying to get this to S1, but I couldn't. So we have the stock flywheel, giving this car 1,000 horsepower, 816 foot-pounds of torque at 3,100 pounds, and 52% weight distribution. Now jumping over into our tune. We have 24.5 front PSI with 21.5 rear PSI. For our gear ratio, we have a 355 final drive, a 260 first, a 180 second, a 142 third, a 118 fourth, a 1-to-1 fifth, and then a 0.886 gear. For our front alignment, we have -4 degrees camber in the front with -0.2 degrees camber in the rear. For our toe, we have front toe out at 0.2 with no toe in the rear. And then for our front caster angle, we have it at 3 degrees. For our roll bars, we have 34.2 front roll bars with a 44.2 rear roll bar. For our springs, we have an 840-pound spring in the front with a 560-pound spring in the rear. And then I didn't like the way this car set real low, so I raised it up to 5.7 in the front and then 5.5 in the rear, which also allowed the springs and the shocks to do what they're supposed to do. You know, if you have the car slammed down to the ground, it's going to be hard for the car to do what it needs to do and move the way it needs to move. For our dampening, we have a 10.8 front dampening with a 7.5 rear rebound, and then for our bump stiffness, we have 6.8 front bump with a 1.8 rear bump. For our aero, we don't have anything adjustable for the aero. For our brakes, we have an 80% brake balance with a 65% brake pressure, which I've been using 65 and 60. So any one of those, obviously you guys can change it according to your personal preference, but I like to use 80% balance, 65% brake pressure. And then lastly, for our differential, we have 100% acceleration with the 100% deceleration, giving this car a lock diff. That was the build. This is the tune. Let's take it out to the drift zone and let's hit it. All right, guys, so we done made it to the top of the hill without wasting any time. Let's get some heat into these tires and let's hit the drift zone. Bro, I gotta tell you guys, I think this might be the best drift car I've tuned all year long. Like I've literally been driving this car like all week long. I built one other car, maybe two other cars since I've tuned this car. Like just overall, just performance wise of this build, like this car drives crazy. Like I'm not gonna say that it's gonna put up the highest amount of points down the mountain, you know, but like if you're trying to tandem and stuff like that, what you guys know, I built most of my cars to do that anyway. This car's crazy. Like it's not too grippy. I had it on the 285 at first, but it's not too grippy. It feels, I mean, it feels great. A usable third gear, a main 4-gear, fifth gear if you desperately need some extra speed or whatever. But this car drives fantastic. Like here, I'm gonna grab fifth. So I'm going to end up eventually picking up speed downhill. Yep. And then I'll brake here and grab fourth. Like this car definitely drives phenomenal. Like I've been having a lot of fun driving it. And you guys know that like typically for me, like 1,000 horsepower is my go-to. So I've been trying to build like 1,000 horsepower cars, like on the money 1,000 horsepower. You guys know I got my 1,000 horsepower LS builds. But I've been trying to find more. Cause I feel like 1,000 horsepower, you know, I'm not gonna say for a beginner, right? Not for a beginner, but just like in general. Like if you know you good, 1,000 horsepower, man, you can make that work on any tire size. I mean, people are running 900 on a 265, so you know what I mean, what's 1,000 on a 285 or 1,000 on a 305 or 295? So I feel like it's a really good base, especially if you want to do like, if you're not, I'm not talking about like grassroots styles or, you know, street style. You know, I build quote unquote, or however you want to call it, pro level build cars. That's how I build my cars. This GTR is so nice, man. I've literally just been having fun driving this thing. I know hands down this is the best GTR that I've built on this channel. 1,056,000. Like I've just enjoyed this car, man. Like I don't know why. This is probably the easiest car that I've built this year to drive, and I haven't like. I built this car like when Horizon first came out, because it's one of the first, you know, one of the cars you get kind of early, you know, whatever. And I didn't like it like at all. I only own one of these cars, so I know I didn't like it. Because most of the time, like if it's a car that I like, I have more than one. But I just didn't like it. I didn't like the way it felt. It felt horrible. It felt too grippy, and there's no sense in putting another motor in this car. Oh well, you can't even motor swap this car, so never mind. It just, I don't know. But now, like, now that I spent some time actually building the car, I enjoy this car, and I think that you guys will too. I think you guys will actually love the build of this car. It's very simple. Like I said, 1,000 horsepower sounds crazy, but when you take into consideration that it's on a 305 and the car weighs 3,100 pounds, I mean, that's okay. That power to weight and that tire, that's okay. It's manageable. It's really good, man. I think you guys will really like this build. Like I said, it's been a while since I've been like uber proud of a build that I've done, but this one right here, this one's taking the cake. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you, this one definitely takes the cake because it's easy, it's smooth, the wide body helps, it's stable. You know what I mean? I got to lift it up enough to where the suspension can do its thing. You know, it can travel, you know, it can squat, do what it needs to do. I really think you guys are going to enjoy it. But guys, listen, I've had a long work week. New career field, crazy. All right. Crazy, hot, dangerous. It's exciting at the same time, tiring at the same time, but I love it. I'm not as tired when I get home from work. I mean, I'm a little beat up, but I'm not as tired when I get home from work. So I'm a little more motivated to want to get videos out. So I've been trying to, at least when I get home, work on a car or 2 cars. That way, when the weekend comes or whatever, I can get a video going or 2 videos and have one queued up. But I promise you guys, we're gonna at least get a video out a week, if not 2. I can't promise 2, but I will at least promise you guys 1 video a week. And I hope that you guys continue to ride for your boy. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all, and I will catch you in the next video.